Welcome to V Nation. Now, I want you to understand, first of all, this program will not be like some of the others that you might have been used to, some of the other videos that you might have seen on YouTube. But first, let me back up. My name is Vincent. Some across the internet know me as Fathi, as well as in person. Some actually that I've known in person call me V. That is not why the show is called that. I was brought up Christian. I took Shahada for the first time in 2010. I struggled with it on and off. The whole reason I started looking into Islam was basically because I wanted to disprove it. But that's me. I'm a English major with a minor in political science. I've got about 3 classes left before I graduate in May. Now, as for the show, because that's why all of y'all are tuned in. The name of the show is V Nation. Okay? That has nothing to do with me or my name. It's catchy and very coincidental, actually. The reason it is called V Nation, okay, is because a few years back, about 2005 or so, I don't remember the exact date, a movie came out based on a graphic novel called V for Vendetta. Now, in this movie, the overall theme of it was to essentially give the power back to the people. The people rebelling against an oppressive state that was constantly eavesdropping on them, that was telling them what to think, how to think, what to follow, and what to believe. And I thought this particular concept, this movie, and the way that it addresses it is the perfect voice for this generation to deal with the things that are going on. So, the name V Nation. Now, this particular show, what this is going to be about basically is breaking down the way that the system works globally for those who are not familiar with it. I will not be talking about reptilian people and shadow people and all of this stuff. I do have my own theories that are somewhere along those lines, interdimensional beings, but I'm going to leave that out. Because what I want to focus on in this show is the facts, bare and simple, and let people draw their own conclusions. So, now in this particular episode, the V Nation premiere, what we're going to be covering is essentially the basics, the terminology, the overall theory of what's going on in the world, and basically that's the summarization of it, because this is not for people that are already familiar with what's going on as far as the tie between Zionism, the Rockefellers, the Rothschild, and all of that. This is not for those people. If y'all want to watch it to get a simpler understanding, then, hey, the more viewers, the better. But this is for the general population, those who have not been following this because they think that it's just some conspiracy. So let's go ahead and begin on this. I'm actually hoping that this program will only run about half an hour, 40 minutes, somewhere around there. And it may end up taking longer, I'm not sure. Now, as for the general terminology, I'm only going to go over a couple of terms because I want this to be really simple. Really simple. The first term, possibly the most overused term is Illuminati. Now, historically, there was a group called the Illuminati. Okay, they were disbanded in 1785, as far as historians are concerned. They were founded in May 1st, 1776. It was out of the country known as Bavaria. And yes, it was founded by a Jesuit. However, let me really break this down for people, okay? You can disagree with me all you want to, but if you look up the historical Illuminati, none of this can be traced to them. And here is the most important reason why. Okay? The key point behind Illuminati was that they did not want any more information kept behind locked doors. They didn't believe in hidden secrets. Now, are there some similarities between what is going on in the world today and the historic Illuminati? Yes. But for those of you that are new to this, the Illuminati is a term that is used broadly. It's an umbrella term. It's used to cover pretty much anything that goes wrong in the world. It's said the Illuminati is behind that. You can draw your own conclusions as far as that goes. Now, the next term that I want to cover is a term that I'm really kind of saddened that so many people don't know, because it has so much significance, whether you follow this kind of stuff or not. And that term is Zionism. Now, allow me to explain something first of all. Every Jew believes in Zionism. Let me repeat that. Every Jew believes in Zionism. The question becomes, what kind of Zionism? The Zionism, at its core, is the belief that the Israelites will one day return to Israel, the Jewish people. Now, Zionism as it is known today, okay, the formation of the Israeli state, about 1948, was founded by a man named Theodore Herzl. Now, Herzl was part of a growing movement, of which we have so many now, of atheistic Jews. Now, what this means basically is he'll acknowledge the fact that he has ancestry that's Jewish, supposedly, but he will tell you that he does not believe in God. And there are several more like this. They believe that the Jewish people have a right to the land of Israel, but they don't believe in God. That is Zionism. Now, as far as the further breakdown of it, I'm going to have a separate episode for that, because there is so much to cover with Zionism. It ties into almost all of this. Okay, but that's the basic summary of it. These individuals who feel that they are entitled to this land because of their birth. That is Zionism. It's a political agenda founded by an atheist and backed by England, more specifically by the Rothschild family, who coincidentally happens to be a very major player in the oil market. Okay, next term, New World Order. And no, that does not refer to the wrestling group. What that term refers to, actually, it was first used by Woodrow Wilson in a speech in 1918. Now, a lot of speculation has been made as to what it refers to, why it refers to. In this program, we are actually going to refrain from using that term because we all want a new world order. We all want a place, when you break down the words, that where things are done differently than they are now. Because, let's face it, what we're doing now is not working. The term that we're going to use in this program is one world order, because that is the goal of the elitist. And finally, one of my favorite terms, Freemasons. Now, the history of this group is clouded in so much mystery and conspiracy that it is beyond hilarious. Let me simply say this, okay? The Freemasons do exist. A lot of the symbolism that is attached to the Illuminati is actually the symbols of the Freemasons, okay? Does that mean that every single member of the Freemasons is part of some elite group to control the world? No, come on. If you look at how many Masonic lodges there is no possible way that every one of them can be involved. There's too many. The whole general populace would be overly aware of what's going on. No. Those that are actually behind a lot of this are a small portion of the organization known as the Freemasons. They are tied into a lot of what's going on. It may be coincidental, it might not, but they are tied into it. Now, the theory, okay, in case you have not figured it out yet, the overall theory behind all of this is that essentially there is a plot by a very small select group of individuals to unite the world under one banner. You can call it a government. I really don't think that it's going to be like a government, but for lack of a better term, we'll say government, a one world government. This one world order will have one government. It will likely be run by corporations, and the corporations will be kind of like we have mayors and stuff now. The controlling families will have a descending order of who controls what and where. And make no mistake about it, there will be a one world religion. Now, the speculation as to what that religion will be is very far out there. I think personally, and this is just my personal opinion, you can take it for what it's worth, I think that the one world religion is already here. It's already here, and it's in plain sight. The one world religion is the belief that man can do whatever he wants. Essentially the idea that man is God. Do whatever makes you feel good. And you can see this reflected in several different religions, whether outright or inadvertently. Finally, the generalized theory, summarized, is that the Rothschild family, along with some other families, like the Rockefellers, have created a cartel of international bankers through which they run the world, which we intend to prove on this program. Okay, this is not just going to be a blanket hypothesis. We're going to actually show how they do it, how they did it, how they set it up, and how it's still going on today. Now, eventually, they will crash all government currencies, and they will call in the loans that they have given to all these different governments, which they have given through the International Monetary Fund. Again, this is a theory for right now, but on this program we do plan on actually showing how that is possible. Now, it looks like the the show is actually running under the time that I had originally planned. I'm hoping that I will actually get some questions as far as what has been said here today. For those of you wondering why it's so brief, why it only covers very small portions of what's happening, again, to summarize, this program, the V Nation, is for those who are unfamiliar with what is going on. Now, as it progresses, I can assure you, those of you who thought you knew what was going on, I'm about to surprise you. Now, as for the general programming and how long each program will take, I cannot say for right now. I hope that as time progresses, I'll get more viewers, that the V Nation will begin to expand, and we can have a better quality program. Now, as for the next program that we have planned, the next program is going to be about the different symbols and how the elitists are telling us that they are here and they are running the show. Now, for those of you who think that perhaps I should do a different program, that I should cover a different topic other than the symbols, I'm open to all criticism, all suggestions. Just bear in mind, this is not for those that are already familiar with this. This is for those that are not familiar with all of this stuff. Those who have been essentially apathetic to what is going on in the world, not necessarily out of desire, but because they really just don't know. And the greatest thing that we can do to combat these individuals is to make the people aware. So when you're giving me suggestions and stuff like that, if you're one of those that are familiar with the topic, I ask that you just keep that in mind. And with that, I'd like to thank all of you that tuned in. Feel free to contact me. I'm not hidden. My Facebook handle actually is under Abdullah Fathi, and I can actually spell that for y'all if you want. My Twitter handle is Fathi Skipper. It's Skipper. And thank all of you for joining us. This has been the V Nation.